I'll join Naoko and Chris on the mat and we'll get set up in easy seated pose. So setting ourselves up in easy seated pose, let's start with the right foot in front of the left, the ankles somewhat in line as possible, or you're welcome to stack the right leg over the left. Bringing the back of our hands to our thighs, palms facing upwards, making a mudra if desired. And stacking our shoulders on top of our hips, finding length from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. We'll take a few deep breaths in through the nose and side out through the mouth. Taking a moment to settle into our bodies. Bringing our awareness to the breath, in and out through the nose at whatever normal rhythm it decides to set at. Noticing the rising and falling of the chest. And perhaps the pauses at the top and the bottom. Noticing the softness in our faces, our jaws and our shoulders. And getting a sense of the mood or the energy that we're bringing to the mat today. Perhaps setting an intention for today's practice. And that could be as simple as focusing on our breath and physical sensations to anchor us in this moment. Or it could be a little more complex to create headspace in order to work through, chew through some emotions or thoughts we've been working on. Bringing our awareness back to the space around us, the temperature, the sounds, and the smells. And we'll rotate our hands, bringing our palms to our knees. We'll slowly start with some cat-cow movements, lifting our chest through on the inhalation, drawing our shoulder blades in towards the spine. And on the exhale, we round forward, bringing our chins to our chest, flaring our arms forward. Inhaling, drawing our chest through. Exhale, rounding back into the spine. And finding a fluid movement that suits our breath while we warm the spine, starting to move some energy up the spine into our shoulders, our neck and chest. Noticing all the yummy sensations down our neck and back. Noticing the opening across our chest. Yeah, we'll do 2 more. Coming back to neutral. Rolling our shoulders up and back. Bringing our hands above our shoulders. Our right hand comes to the earth. We reach up on the inhalation and we slowly walk over into a side bend. Not collapsing, keeping our hip rooted to the ground. And starting to breathe some space into our side body. Deep breaths to nourish all the tissues down the side, into the lower back, into the hip. Continuing to reach our arm or to bring it to the side of our head if we need to support it. Perhaps we feel little tingly sensations. Noting them, doing what's best for us in this moment so as not to create any stress. Noticing how sensations transform. And on the next inhalation, we push ourselves up, windmilling the arms. Left hand comes to the earth, right arm floats up. Inhaling, we reach up. Exhale, we walk out into a side bend, making sure to keep our right hip connected to the earth. Supporting ourselves with our left hand and arm. Slow, steady rhythm of breath. Noticing the pattern of energy that runs from the fingertips all the way through the side and into the lower back. Actively pressing the right knee downwards. And ensuring that we're breathing calm and steady, nourishing and massaging the muscles and ligaments, creating space for them to breathe. And on the next inhale, we'll push ourselves up. Rolling our shoulders, bringing our hands back to our knees. And we'll slowly circle around. Whichever direction, we'll do both. Slowly adding some lateral flexion. Adding to our repertoire of movements, changing our patterns. Perhaps clearing some blockages that have us feeling a little sticky. Noticing the lightness that perhaps has come to our minds in this meditative flow. And we can switch directions when it feels comfortable. Perhaps noticing the rhythm of our breath. Sensations in our side body, lower back, hips. One more circle in this direction. We meet up in center. We lift our hands over our shoulders once again. And we're going to forward fold. Bringing our hands to the earth. Keeping a flat back. Chest is drawn through. We slowly walk ourselves out as our hips release energy. Noticing what's happening in the hips, the glutes, the lower back. Easing our way into the pose as our breath allows, as the muscles allow. Maintaining our slow, steady rhythm of breath. Not pushing anything too far, too fast. Giving ourselves time to release tension and to calm our nervous system, helping to reset it and to nourish it for the days ahead. Repairing any of the stressors that we've dealt with this past week, and setting ourselves up for a successful week ahead. On the next inhale, we'll press ourselves up, walking our hands in, stacking the vertebrae, shoulders, and head. Deep breaths in, sighing it out. And we'll extend our legs in front of us, giving them a little wiggle. We'll do a couple of dandasanas in between sides, making sure our sit bones are firmly connected. Toes are pointing up. Maybe a micro bend in the back of the knees, feeling the hamstrings and the calf muscles engage as well as the fronts of the feet. We inhale, lifting our arms over our shoulders. Lengthening through the spine, and exhale, we hinge forward, reaching beyond our feet. Option here to hold, option to pulse gently. Checking in with the back body. Tucking our chins to our chests. Perhaps even feeling a little bit of heat generating as that energy starts to release and move around. Slowly rolling ourselves up on the next inhale. Wiggling the feet, pointing, rolling, crick, crack, crick, crack. And we'll set ourselves back up into our easy seated pose, this time with the opposite leg in front. Perhaps the left foot in front or on top. And once again, we bring our hands to our knees, gripping onto the knees for a little bit of traction. And we'll butterfly the arms, inhaling, lifting the chest through, drawing our shoulder blades towards the spine. Exhale, we round back into our spine, chin to chest, arms come forward. Inhale, drawing ourselves through. Exhale, we round back. Finding our flow, feeling the yummy sensations in our back and our shoulders. You can Continuing to create fluidity in our movements as we create space. Clearing those blockages. Perhaps visualizing breathing in light from the sun. Exhale, pushing it through the body to melt away tension. Two more. We come back to neutral, rolling the shoulders up and back. Beautiful. Inhale, reaching the arms over our shoulders. Left hand comes to the earth. Right hand reaches up on the inhalation. We exhale, side bend. Perhaps noticing different sensations with our feet crossed differently. Seeing if we can keep our hip anchored down, reaching our arm, or bringing it to the side of our head for support as needed, melting into our forearm as possible. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. And on the next inhale, we'll push ourselves up. We'll windmill the arm. Right hand comes to the earth. Left hand over the shoulder. We inhale, reaching up. Exhale, we walk our hand out. Side bend. Reaching with the left arm over the head and actively pressing the left knee and hip away. Finding that space between the fingertips and the hip. Noticing the nourishing qualities of our breath. And on the next inhale, we press ourselves back up using our arm. Bringing both hands down, rolling our shoulders up and back. Deep breath in. We sigh it out. Bringing our hands back to our knees. We'll slowly circle around. Again, it doesn't matter which direction we start with. We'll do both. Checking in with the physical sensations to see if they've transformed at all. Perhaps we have a little bit more fluidity. Not feeling as blocked or tight. Noticing our deep inhalations and exhalations through the nose. One more in this direction. And whenever it feels comfortable, we can switch directions. 2 more. And we all meet back up in our natural neutral position, rolling our shoulders up and back. And we'll extend our legs out in front. Dandasana, wiggling them out. And once again, checking in with the sit bones, bringing the feet together, toes are pointed up, little micro bend in the back of the knees. We've got hamstrings and the calf muscles flexed. Inhale, reaching our arms over our shoulders. Exhale, we hinge forward, reaching our arms beyond the feet. Perhaps we stay here, perhaps we pulse, or perhaps we bring our hands to our shins or the earth for a passive stretch. Whatever suits us in this moment. Maintaining our awareness on our breath and the physical sensations, anchoring us to this moment. Two more big breaths. We release the feet, we roll ourselves up, stacking the vertebrae, shoulders and head, and go ahead and wiggle out the feet, pointing, flexing, rolling, noticing what happens in the fronts of the feet, the shins, the calves, all that yumminess. Good. Shifting over to the right side of our mat, we'll bring our left foot into a tree pose. Bringing our left hand under our shoulder, and we're going to press ourselves up, lifting our hips and reaching our right arm over our faces. Inhale, lifting up, planting our right foot on the earth, opening our chest and abdomen. Gentle arch of the lower back as we press our hips forward. Feeling the energy between the hands, running all the way down our arms, across our chest. Two more breaths here. And we slowly lower out of that, resetting. Oh, feel the energy through the arms, giving ourselves a gentle hug, tucking our knees in, chin to chest. Lifting our heads, and we'll shift our weight over to the left, and we'll do the same hip bridge, but in our flip dog. Hand comes under the shoulder, we bring our knee to the mat, and whenever we're ready, we can lift up, reaching our left hand over our faces, planting the left foot on the ground. Gentle arch of the lower back. Feeling an opening across the chest and down the arms, opening down the abdomen, the gentle arch of the lower back. Micro movements to be in an exploratory mode. 2 more breaths. And we slowly come out of that, back to seated. Bringing both hands underneath our shoulders, we'll come into a reverse table. Feet can be hip width apart. We'll lift our hips up. We'll press our weight into the arms, feeling that opening down the fronts of the arms, keeping our knees stacked over our ankles. And the option to float the head up and down, side to side, whatever feels good. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. Gentle expressions on our faces. Noticing how the sensations transform. For 2 more breaths. And we release back down, giving ourselves another little hug, drawing our knees into our chest and wrapping our hands or arms around, chins to chest. Lifting our heads, and we release our arms. We're coming into a kneeling pose, rock pose. Let's bring our toes underneath our shins. All 5, making sure they make contact with the mat below. Good. And we stack our shoulders on top of our hips. Bringing our left arm under our right, we will eagle the arms as best as possible, opening into the upper back. Palms pressed together, however they may manage to connect naturally. We can hold here. We have the option to lift our arms on the inhale and lower them on the exhale. Slowly starting to get a sense of what's happening in the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, down the fronts of the arms. Noticing the conversation the feet and toes might be having. Just listening. 2 more. We'll slowly roll our arms out of that, and we'll come into all 4s, tapping out our feet as needed. Perhaps we need to tap them against the mat or roll them out. Good. We'll come back into toes pose, making sure again all 5 toes are connecting. And then we bring the right hand arm under the left, rotating our palms inwards, holding here with the option to lift and lower the arms with the breath. Being aware of different sensations on this side of the body. Perhaps noticing a longer breath. Three more. Finishing our last one, and we can roll out of it, unraveling and tapping out. Perhaps feeling a little less intensity in the feet this time around. We'll come back into our rock pose, releasing the toes, coming onto the fronts of our feet. Bringing our hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Keeping our shoulders stacked, rolling them back. Driving the knuckles to the earth, straightening the arms, and then lifting the hands away from the glutes as possible. Lifting the chest, lifting the gaze, noticing all those yummy sensations across the chest and down the arms, into the wrists. Fitting the pose to our body. Whatever our body tells us we need today. 2 more breaths. And we slowly release out of that. Bringing our right arm across our chest. And pressing with the left hand against the upper arm, just behind the elbow. Reaching and feeling the opening down the outside of the arm. Perhaps even into the shoulder. Gentle expressions on our faces. And awareness on our breath. Reaching that same right arm up beside our ear, bringing our left hand to the elbow, and we'll reach the right hand behind our back between the shoulder blades. Continuing to find length in our torso, pressing our head back, and feeling the stretch down the tricep. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. Good. Inhale, reaching both arms up and bringing them down on the exhalation. Deep breaths in between, rolling the shoulders up and back. Sighing it out. Bringing our left arm across the chest. The right hand comes to the upper arm, pressing against it. Reaching and pressing, feeling the energy down the outside of the left arm into the shoulder. Breathing awareness into it and into any areas of discomfort. And then we'll reach that same arm up alongside the ear. Hand comes to the elbow and we reach behind our head. Pressing down, drawing the tricep towards our ear. Maintaining our calm breath through the nose. Calming our nervous system as we allow for an unraveling of energy and emotions. Good, reaching both hands up. And we bring them down alongside the body, exhaling. Rolling the shoulders up and back. Sighing it out. We'll come back onto our glutes and we'll open our legs into a wide straddle. Whatever width suits us at this point, gently unfolding our legs and our knees. Pressing ourselves forward with our hands to a comfortably uncomfortable place. We're going to hang out here for a bit, starting with our toes pointed upwards. And as the inner thighs start to soften and release that clenching sensation, we can walk our hands out, maintaining a flat back. We ease our way into the center, noticing the softening of our faces and our jaws, our shoulders melting away from the ears, so we're not holding our tension there. We're not shifting it. Keeping the toes pointed up so as not to roll inwards, keeping the focus on our inner thighs. And the presence in this moment. And I know these moments of discomfort can be challenging, but the more we practice on the mat, the more we rely on our breath to bring us back, the stronger our tools will be for uncomfortable moments in everyday lives. No competition. No judgment. We do what suits our body, honoring the state of it in this moment. Recognizing when distractions might enter our minds, letting them float by like blue clouds on a blue sky afternoon. And then bringing our awareness back to the breath and our physical sensations and noticing how they may have transformed from when we started in this pose. On the next inhale, we'll walk ourselves back up, stacking the vertebrae, releasing the feet, giving them a little wiggle, pointing and flexing. Oh. And then we'll draw the feet in together, releasing the knees gently, and bringing the bottoms of the feet together, wrapping our hands around the back side of them, lengthening the torso. An option here to butterfly, pressing the knees away, drawing the heels in towards us. Good, then once again, we'll extend the legs long, Dandasana, all the way out. Giving them a little wiggle if that feels good. Pointing, rolling, flexing the feet. Good. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Pointing the toes up. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhaling, forward fold. And this time, pressing our palms forward, we'll bring the arms on a diagonal. Letting our chin fall towards our chest. Option to press here. Option to bring the hands to the earth or to pulse once again. Palms facing forward. Arms are diagonal. And again, we're noticing the energy and the sensations down the back side of the body, all the way from the neck, down the spine, into the lower back, down the back of the legs, through the calf muscles, into the feet, toes are pointed up. Bringing the hands to the earth. And we bring our right arm across the left leg. Very gentle twist here. Wherever the right hand falls naturally. And then we breathe into the patterns of energy that we might be feeling. Settling into the pose, feeling a softening through the body. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, left hand floats across the right leg. Letting the head hang heavy. Perhaps breathing into areas of discomfort. And we inhale back to center. Rolling ourselves up, stacking the vertebrae, shoulders, and head. Stacking the shoulders on top of the hips. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling, sighing it out. And we'll bring our feet hip width apart. Grabbing a sip of water, we're rolling ourselves down. Using our abdominal muscles to lower ourselves down. Bringing our vertebrae to the earth. Noticing the curvature of our lower back. We'll walk our feet to the outer edges of the mat. And slowly windshield wiper the knees left to right. We can bring our arms into a T. Or we can leave them alongside our body or on our abdomen. Going to whatever speed feels good for our body. Rolling across the glutes. Perhaps even noticing some tension there. Tension in our glutes that might be causing slight discomfort in our lower backs. We're here to nourish. So taking the time to listen to our bodies, to move intuitively, and to create new patterns along the way. One more big breath. And we come back to center, inhaling. Drawing our knees into our chest, one at a time. Narrow or wide, whatever feels good. We can rock side to side. We can hug ourselves up into little cocoons. And listening to the body and what it might be craving at this point. Bringing our left foot to the earth, we'll cross our right leg over either in a figure 4 or an eagle. We walk our left foot to the outer edge of the mat and we lower our knees to the right. Finding a placement for our hands as feels comfortable. Out to the sides or above our heads as options. So long as we can maintain our calm, steady rhythm of breath, nourishing our nervous system, that's where we want to be. Noticing the softness of our faces, the gentle rhythm of our heartbeat, perhaps breathing light into areas of stickiness or tightness. Being aware of those areas, nourishing and embracing any discomfort. Appreciating the discomfort as it makes us feel alive. It reminds us that we need to move, that we need to slow down. Perhaps it teaches us something at the same time. Inhaling, we'll unravel from that, hugging our knees back in, narrow or wide, rocking or pulsing, or finding stillness, again listening to the body. Then we'll bring our right foot to the earth, left leg crosses over, figure 4 or eagle. Walking the right foot to the outer edge of the mat, and then we allow the knees to lower to the left. Floating our arms wherever they feel comfortable. Breathing lightness in through our nose and letting it fill our bodies. Once again, recognizing any distractions that enter our minds, letting them drift through, and gently bringing our awareness back to the breath and the physical sensations. Noticing the contact our body makes on the earth below, the different contact points, and the steady rhythm of breath in and out through the nose. Bringing our knees back to center, unraveling, and once again hugging the knees in towards our chest. Perhaps we switch it up a little bit wider, perhaps floating into happy baby. Bringing our knees a little wider towards the armpits, with our hands on top of the knees or shins. Rolling our feet, pointing and flexing. Crunching our toes. And we have the option to hold here or to reach for our big toes with our peace fingers and thumb, or wrapping our hands around the fronts of the feet or the inside of the feet. And we can open our legs, opening into the inner thighs, feeling that stretch along the outer edge of the legs, hanging out here for as long as we can tolerate, as long as we're making gains in our flexibility, slowly and gently. Exploring, maybe one leg at a time. Dynamic or passive. Stacking our feet over our hips, gently bringing them in. And we have the option here to come into a plow pose, lifting our hips, shifting our feet over our faces and beyond our head. Option to come into Shavasana or into a hug. Listening to our body, listening to our back and what we feel we might need at this point before we finish our practice. Final micro movements. Final opportunity to generate some heat in our back body as desired. Releasing energy. Calm, steady rhythm of breath wherever we are. Feeling those micro gains and small releases with each breath. Micro movements as we explore in each of our poses. And we'll all meet up in Shavasana, noticing curvature of our spine, elongating the legs, feeling the contact our body makes on the earth below. And running through a body scan from head to toe, noticing all the sensations, the lightness that we've created. Down the arms, back to the chest, down the back, into the abdomen. into the pelvis and the trunk of our body. Taking a moment to reflect on any intention we may have set at the beginning of our practice. Perhaps modifying it or solidifying it for the days ahead. Taking the time we need to imprint our practice on our body and mind. And when we're ready, we can bring some awareness back to our bodies, the physical sensations, rolling our feet, our hands, our wrists, flexing, pointing, drawing our legs in, curling up and over to the side. We press ourselves back up, bringing our awareness to the space around us. Giving thanks for the opportunity to get to the mat today, to take the time to nourish our bodies, to be a part of this community, and to set ourselves up for the days ahead. Thank you for joining me and allowing me to continue on your journey. I wish you a beautiful continuation. Namaste.